this obsession with the big escapist fantasy. I mean, does this say something about our age, do you think?
I don't think it's so much the word big, but it's escape. People love the unknown. They love going into a new world, having a new experience. It's like they like going to the moon. It's something in people. It's a nifty thing, and film is a great way to have a new experience.
All the time, Paul.
Okay, I'm rolling.
Right. This must be a terrific contrast from your previous film, Elephant Man.
It's a giant contrast in some ways, way more time, way more people, and the hardest thing I've ever done, but every film has got its similarities, and so in many ways it's the same.
And a lot of money on this one.
Yeah, but it took all this money to get those things on the screen. Just like it took all the money for Elephant Man to get that on the screen. There wasn't a lot of waste. It really went from here to there.
Is that a particular pressure for you to know that so much rides on a film in terms of investment and the vast numbers of people, I think up to 1,000 people working on the production?
To me, $1 million is almost the same as $40 million. It's a lot of money, and every film is a lot of pressure. But I believe that you've got to tune into the material and be true to that, and concentrate on getting that on the screen. And money doesn't have a lot to do with that.
You're working here from a literary source, from successful books. Did that mean that you felt you had to be faithful to that material, or did you take it as a jumping off point?
No, if you're going to call it Dune, you've got to do the book Dune and get that on the screen. But in the book, Frank Herbert's got a trillion ideas. Some of them are sprouted, and some of them aren't really sprouted. And he was great encouraging me to, if I fell in love with something and found a way to to make it work, to sprout those ideas. And so everything passes through a director's filter, even though it's someone else's material. I had a lot of leeway within it, and it all comes through this filter.
Are you at all worried that there seems to be this obsession with the big science fiction movie, the big escapist fantasy? I mean, does this say something about our age, do you think?
I don't think it's so much the word big, but it's escape. People love the unknown. They love going into a new world, having a new experience. It's like they like going to the moon. It's something in people. It's a nifty thing, and film is a great way to have a new experience. Just one ticket, and it's something brand new.
Is it something you're consciously aiming at a young audience, or are you really trying to appeal to the broadest spectrum?
Well, I think in my mind it was a film that was going to appeal to a broader spectrum, but what we find is like young people really like it the best. And I think because it's a complicated sort of film, but their minds are sort of open to it, and it's like a new experience. They don't get caught up in the complications somehow.
Does this film make you feel that you might sort of enter the lists with Steven Spielberg and one or two other people?
I don't even want to think about that. I'm thankful that I've done it, and like I said, it's the hardest thing I ever did. And what happens to it now is not up to me; it's up to the people. I just hope for the best.
Does it mean that you'll want to do more of this kind of film, or are you looking for something totally different next?
I'm real interested in doing different kinds of things, and if I get an idea, or if I read something and I get the chance to do it, it doesn't have to be one particular type of thing or one genre.
Is there a danger that if this is an enormous success, which seems to be the case, and you're left with a film that makes millions and millions and millions of pounds, dollars, that you'll be offered this kind of film again and again, that you'll fall unwittingly into a rut that might be hard to get out of? Is that a danger, that they won't want to give you money to do your worthwhile small budget film?
No, it's a pretty nice danger in a way, but I think when you have a success, you have more freedom in this business, and so I might get offered those things, but also get the chance to do different types of things, and people will take the chance.
Lovely.
Thanks a million.
Very good.
Okay, thanks, Sylvia.
So I envy you the scope of that space in Mexico and being able to work on those vast effects and scenes. It's funny how nowadays it's always space fiction. We don't have the big historical epic at the moment.
Well, Raffaella, you have to talk to her about that because she's going to go off and do Taipan.
Really?
In part of it, at least part of it in China.
Oh, that would be sensational.
Yeah, that'd be something.
I'd like that to return, I must say, as a genre, but done with the advances in filmmaking that have been around since the Ben-Hurs and the Spartacuses and all those things.
That's what she's, keen on doing.
Right. Oh, I'll have to give her my script.
Yeah, yeah. Although,
I've only got very little time because it's a news program, so it'll be speaking in headlines. Okay? How conscious were you of the enormous responsibility of putting together a project of this huge scale?
Very conscious. It's one of the things that I liked about it, the challenge.
You didn't have nightmares about it?
Of course, I still do every night.
How much money has finally been spent, do you think? What's the latest count?
39.8, $40 million. But that's what we wanted to spend.
You didn't go over budget at all?
Yeah, we're talking a few $100,000.
And what is the potential gross at the moment of a film like that, when most cinemas are not doing well, but the big films are, aren't they?
Well, most cinemas are not doing well in England, but all over the world, I think cinema is still one of the most cheap form of entertainment, and we have the advantage of having such an enormous cult behind this book, which I think is going to be very pleased with the movie because it's very faithful to the book.
How important is it to win the battle of the giant films coming up before Christmas? I mean, do you have to do better than Ghostbusters and Gremlins and all those to make the money that you seek? Do you have to be seen as the best movie?
I don't have to, but I'd like to.
There presumably is, though, a market. The one that becomes the most successful, that people really take to, will presumably be the one that really makes money.
Well, you see, Ghostbusters opened in the United States 7 months ago. Like, for instance, in the United States, the expectation for Dune is great and Ghostbusters is finished. Now in England, they're coming out at the same time, so it's going to be very interesting. Ghostbusters is an easier movie in a way. Dune is a more thinking person movie.
What about Gremlins?
I haven't seen it, but I think it's somehow in between.
Don't waste your money. Why did you pick up this particular? I mean, you said it's a classic work of science fiction. Was it the idea to work from the book, or were you looking for a subject for a big science fiction film?
No, it was the book. I fell in love with the book when I read it, and that was 9 years ago, and ever since I've been obsessed with the idea of making it. And George Lucas, who I have an immense respect for, did a wonderful thing with Dune. I mean, most of Star Wars is in a certain way taken out of Dune, but all the difficult esoteric side of Dune, he converted into a one word, may the force be with you. And so when David and I approached the problem, we said, Dune has already been done in a simplified matter, so we want to make the book. And I think we've achieved it. And Frank Herbert, the author, is, thrilled with the movie.
So you don't see it as pitching particularly to a young audience. You're really going for the science fiction aficionado as well?
Well, no, it's a young audience movie somehow because children don't have the problems that adults have in relating to things that don't belong to their world, and So I think children are going to understand it all and love it all. Adults are going to ask themselves a lot of questions, and not always they'll find the answers in the movie.
A question about you and your career, which I'm sure you're asked all the time, but when did you know that you were going to go into the family business, as it were?
Never really. I one day found myself producing my first movie and wondering what I was doing there. You see, it's funny, I went to art school like David, and I started working in movies when I was 14 or 15 in the summer, in art directing or, things that I thought, and then I sort of got bored with it. It wasn't what I wanted to do, and I slowly moved to production. And without even knowing it, in 1979, I was producing my first movie. So I never said I want to be a producer. It just sort of happened one day.
Is it still very much a family business? I mean, is there always a link and involvement?
Oh, yes. I mean, I have a great relationship with my father, and We respect each other a great deal. We also fight a lot, but I like going off and making my own movies, sort of, you know, and then I always discuss them with him, but I go off and I'm the captain of my ship.
And what's your ship going to be doing in the future? Where are you going to be sailing?
I'm going to China. Actually, I'm coming back from China, and I'm going to do a picture again from a big book called Taipan by James Clavell. And I'm very excited because it's going to be the first English-speaking movie to be shot in China since the revolution. So that's going to be an experience.
Lovely, thank you. Answer. Okay, running? Yes, no, that would be of interest to us, I think. The fact that you're filming there on location in China would be perhaps an excuse for us to go and do some filming in China. Or will you be a closed set, do you think?
No, you're welcome. And the Chinese want people to come and see that China's an
Right.
open country now.
Well, in that case, we'll do our best to keep in touch with you and organise something, because I think it would be rather exciting to get into China and do some art stories.